Hey guys, so this is another still good video, this time's for Venus, and yes guys, we finally got Venus again after being refused to actually get her for so long. Oh my god, I've never been so excited to get what was thought to be a bad hero in the past. Oh yeah guys, there's a really long history of Venus disappearing. There was a time that even mods would not want her to be published again in that situation. However, luckily, this game constantly changes developers over and over and over again, and apparently the developers that are right now decided to release Venus again, but with a few changes to to make her come back. So yeah, so we're not gonna talk about that now. So, the very first change, and it's a really big one, is they nerfed her from very fast to average speed. Apparently in this game, developers don't really like to have very fast heroes for some reason. Right now, the only very fast hero is Cassandra. And yeah, Venus was one of them, and not anymore. However, they did buff her abilities here. Deals 384% damage to the target for 8 hits, inflicting 1 stack of apoptosis upon each skill damage dealt for 2 turns, stacking up to 8 times. So that pretty much means that she hits 8 times and her apoptosis stacks 8 times in that situation. So right at the bat, you don't have to shoot more than 1 time to actually get this full advantage of this. So apoptosis deals 32% extra damage every turn. So it's stacked by 8. That's actually much higher than this. So it is relevant, especially in PvP without any shields. We're going to talk about that a little later too. Passive, this character gains 20% attack for each buff received, up to 100%. So remember that this gal is from the Chattingales, and the Chattingales, all of them like to have a lot of buffs, and their faction buff is pretty much make those buffs last even longer. So if you're using her on defense, it's probably easier to get all these buffs. Usually on the mono purple team, it's going to be a little harder because there's not a lot of heroes that buff in purple in that situation. So you have to take that into account. Maybe into a team that has Malfort and shooting at only one target over and over and over again may be a good option there. Just maybe. She's not exactly perfect on defense, because the thing is that this skill does not put these apoptosis stacks when the enemy is shielded. So she has the exact same problem as Deedlight. Oh, that's the main reason why Deedlight is not being used so much. Because if the enemy shield his ability doesn't activate much, and since the enemy shield, this apoptosis thing is not going to come up, and that's a really strong drawback. So I highly don't recommend using her versus an enemy that is an F2 in war, because they're always going to have shields, or even worse, versus Thor that's going to create a shield every single time the actual life is affected there in that situation. Well, let's talk about her awakenings real quick. +1 increases critical chance by 25% for 3 turns when casting a skill. So this is a buff. So right at the bat, this will make her get 20% attack. So it's in this situation, this awakening is 20% attack and 25% crit chance, which is pretty nice actually for her for sure. The +2 is actually 6%. Plus increases critical chance by 10%. So clearly they really want her to use crit in this situation. And not to mention her +3 restores 5% of max HP when dealing critical damage. So in this situation, you have to remember that her weapon activates when you're healed. Remember, when you heal, it's when you lose life and then you gain the life back. That is healing in this situation. So this was going to help you a lot, especially if you don't have any lifesteal runes to actually heal that life back and activate the weapon. This is going to help you a lot in that situation. The +4 is the same as the +2. And the +5, when casting a skill, deals additional pure damage to 15% of the max HP to enemies with the apoptosis debuff. So when I actually test this out, I tested with her own weapon, and her own weapon gives her more than 100% crit. So much crit, it makes her her pure damage crit. If you can't believe it, that is freaking amazing, guys. That is pretty cool stuff, guys, right there. So every single time you cast a skill, you get pure damage. Really nice, guys. Very, very powerful stuff. So let's take her to a spin real quick. All right, let's go, guys. So let's see if we can make her work with purple here. So we got a lot of stones, just like we need. There we go. Nice start. Alright, so let's add this here. Let's start trying to kill this guy. So I'm making it slow so you guys can actually see the damage. Check this out. Alright, that's 25% crit. Look at all that crit. That is amazing. 2k, 2k, and things like that. Let's see how much. We already, right off the bat, without even healing or touching or everything, we already have 70% crit chance and 25, so that's 95% crit chance right off the bat with her amazing weapon. This weapon is no joke, guys. I'm going to explain a little bit later there. So let's continue this here. And filling up the mana. If you have Director N, even a +0, she's going to help you a lot in this situation. Because this guy over here has problems getting mana back. And that is not... yeah, that is not... It's not between... Well, what I mean is that she's going to have a lot of problems with mana, for sure, guys. So, yeah. As much help that you can give her, that's going to help her a lot. Let me... can I save this, or he's going to die? Yes, he's going to die. Perfect. So, I want to see her shooting a few times in a row here. Let's try with her. So... Dun, dun, dun. Look at all that critting. I love to see that. If you pair her with a hero that actually gives her crit damage, that's gonna raise her attack by a lot, guys. For sure. Purple, I think N at +5 will be able to pull that off. However, yeah, we're gonna try that. When you actually have N and giving all that, for sure. All right. We do have the stacks here. So since it already has all the stacks here, it's 256% of the caster's attack every freaking turn. Yeah, so that's the 8 stats that we were talking about here. Let's do it again. Really slowly and see a damage here. Boom, 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 boom. Look at that. That is a bunch of damage, guys. So let's see. Let's play a little bit faster here to see how far we can... Oh, I forgot to activate these guys. Well, that's fine. Alright. Boom, boom, boom. That is pretty fun to see. Alrighty, we got it. And there we go. So now I can activate here. Alrighty. So the thing is that since her ability doesn't really work on enemies that have shields, PvE is an excellent place for you to actually use her, since she's not limited or shields. Most of the time she's not limited by shields on PvE and bosses and things like that. Very few bosses actually use in that situation that. Let's see if we're able to get this. I should have saved it a little bit. So we had it here. Let's see if we're able to activate her again. Yeah, she definitely should have saved it there. Alright. Let me see if I can get a little bit more here. We're getting mana screwed here, but luckily Anne does have this ability to be able to get additional mana right off the bat without any additional stones here. Look at that. She is so freaking powerful, guys. It's not even funny. If you're able to get her at even a +0, Professor N, Director N, sorry, that is highly recommended. She's a very powerful hero, guys. But as you can see, since she's average speed, she's not getting as much mana as she should have gotten there in that situation. So maybe a weapon that could raise her mana gain. That could definitely be an option there. But agility doesn't really have a lot of good weapons that give mana gain. That's the big problem. That's the sad part about this. And another thing about Director N and this guy over here, since she is giving shields to everybody, she's not receiving the damage to be able to heal, so she's not going to have that amazing amount of crit from her weapon in that situation. So that's a real drawback from using Director N with her in that situation. So maybe finding other ways to actually gain the mana back could be an option, but Director N is so freaking good, guys. Yeah, so maybe using another way to actually use her. Maybe another crit weapon. But her weapon is so powerful, guys. It's not even funny, guys, for sure. And in PvE, it's like one of the most powerful crit weapons in the entire game. Let me show you that a little later. Alright. We're taking a little bit more time here because she is not critting as much as we would like to. Alrighty. Alright. And you are seeing a lot less damage because since her weapon wasn't able to actually activate because of Director N, it went down a lot in that situation. However, I'm going to show you now another fight that I had with her and without Director N. And see, the amount of damage that she pulls off is a lot more with her weapon. Especially since her abilities are dependent a lot of her critting, it's going to make her do a lot more damage than what you usually do there. So yeah, guys, as I said, her weapon is one of the most powerful weapons in the entire freaking game. With her, it's 35, but with other heroes, if you lose life and you gain the life back, yeah, this is freaking powerful. It will get you 75% crit chance for any agility hero that you actually have in the game. And in this situation, now that lifesteal is healing any hero, it doesn't matter which one it is, if you have lifesteal runes, that is going to make them get the 75% crit chance. So if you need a reason to get Venus right off the bat only at +0, is to be able to get her weapon with clovers for sure. This is a very powerful weapon for any agility hero in the game. Highly recommended to get this hero for sure, guys. It's not even funny, guys, for sure. This is an amazing weapon for sure. And for her, it's going to give her 105% crit chance on top of the 25% she's already receiving. So yeah, it's a very powerful weapon. However, the biggest drawback of using Venus is if the enemy is shielded, it's not going to give the apoptosis thing. So that's the main drawback. So no, I don't recommend at all her to be used on F2 and War unless she is the first hero that is hitting in a target. The target has to not have shield. So the apoptosis and stats actually are added there. So in general, I don't recommend her be used in War in F2 or versus Thor. Thor is going to create a shield every single time one is broken, so that's going to be a big problem in that situation. Unless you have a shield breaker in a place that is not F2, and you break the shields and then you activate her, that's a good way to actually use her on War for sure on the attack. On defense, you could use her on a Malphur team in that situation because she's always going to be shooting at the same target, and the apoptosis debuff is going to be relevant for that enemy. I've seen the damage done on PvP, and it's pretty powerful. It's very relevant for sure, guys. So, do I think that she's a must-have? I don't think she's a must-have. She can become a hero that is a very high damage dealer on PvE. But if you're able to get her to +5, go ahead. She's a pretty versatile and is an additional damage hero that you may be needing in PvE for sure. I have no doubt that this hero is going to be very useful in PvE, especially if you're giving her extra mana in that situation for sure. And since we really don't have any way to actually awaken her even further, I'm pretty sure the devs are cooking some type of way to actually get her awakened even higher. We don't know yet, but we'll soon know for sure. It's not a coincidence that they change her abilities and at the same time they make her available for everybody to buy. So for sure, I think stay tuned, guys. Something is going to happen for sure. All right. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you think I made a mistake, please leave it in the comments and we'll talk about it. All right. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.